Hey guys, it's Elena.
And it's Candace.
And you're listening to Cousins on Crime.
Christmas and Merry New Year. I don't know.
Happy birthday, Jesus.
That's right. My kids love that song.
I'm so glad it's Christmas. You're ruining my song.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's over. The moment's
All
gone.
the tinsel and lights.
No.
This episode drops on Christmas Day, so Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates.
Christmas present.
Yeah, if you don't celebrate, that's fine. Cool.
Yeah.
Dreidel, dreidel. I don't know.
Happy Hanukkah?
Yeah, happy Hanukkah. Kwanzaa.
Uh-huh.
All the other stuff.
Yeah.
Happy holidays to you. We did not take Christmas off because we took too much time off.
Yeah, we already gave a bit too much of a break. We couldn't do that to you.
We were not going to do that to you. We would never do that to you.
No.
How was your Monday? Was it crickets and tumbleweeds like my Monday was?
Was yours?
I mean, so I work for a law firm. The opposing counsel was not answering my emails.
Well, yeah.
Our clients were not answering my messages. So I guess everybody was like, I'm off. I'm gone.
No, see, patients still come to the doctor, and
that's true.
Mm-hmm, they still need their referrals and insurance authorizations because we got till the end of the year to get those deductibles.
Oh, girl, don't I know? That's why we squeezed in the girls' procedure before, because we've met our deductible and then everybody else's deductible in Texas. This year, so we were like, let's squeeze it in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
you definitely have to think about that.
Yeah. So I feel you. Yeah. Medical field never sleeps.
If you haven't by now, it's probably not going to happen. So
yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. So what you got for us?
Yeah, we'll just get right into it. So I came across this TED Talk. Do you listen to TED Talks?
I do.
Some are very interesting.
Mine are probably a lot different. The ones I watch are probably a lot different than the ones you watch.
Yeah. I don't like to do like the whole inspiration and that's, I'm
like the motivational speaker.
Yeah, that's not me.
Yeah.
I just came across this one. Her name is Paisley. Paisley. She was telling part of her life story. She explains her life as a child bride.
Wow.
Yeah. Her family had left Iraq and took refuge from Saddam Hussein in England, in London. There were 5 sisters and 1 brother in their family. The family was strict. And even though now living in the Western world and in England, they still stuck to their ways of their culture.
Mm-hmm.
The girls all had to go under female genital mutilation.
I'm sorry? Are we talking about female circumcision?
That's correct. Yeah. So I told you we're just getting right into it.
Put the lid back on that can of worms because I have stuff to say.
It exploded. Yeah, they all had to go or undergo that between the ages of 7 and 10.
7 and 10.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you imagine? They have no concept. Like, they have no idea why.
Right.
That's happening.
No. And one of the sisters,
oh my Lord,
researching
Jesus.
this, she talks about how they were taken to her grandmother's house and where they performed this.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, wait, at your grandmother's house?
I don't know what to say.
She talks about her sister, Paisley talks about her sister, Bikel. When she became the age to marry in the sight of her mother and father at 16 years old, Bikel refused. She ran away and eventually was able to escape her family by way of social services. She was placed in foster care.
Wow.
Paisley talks about the time social services came to investigate on Bickel's behalf, but they never asked about the other kids.
What?
They just
so
like, hey,
bizarre.
how are you? Like, are you treated this way? And so
that feels like where you start, but who am I?
I'm not sure what was going through their minds, but Paisley noted as a child, she's like, what about me?
Even
like,
at that young age, she's like, I have a voice and I have stuff to say too. Wow.
So when this happened, their family was shamed by their Kurdish community, all the ones living in London with them, because he could not
control his daughter.
Yeah, their father could not control the daughter, and he was seen as dishonorable. Bickel speaks in a documentary called Banaz, a love story. She tells of a time that her father hired her brother to kill her.
What?
Because she dishonored the family.
Wow. Wow.
Her brother led her to a park and told her to turn around, and he hit her in the head with a dumbbell.
Oh my God.
She turned around and fought back. She bit him.
Oh.
And she said, "Look at what you're doing. You tried to kill me." And he started to cry, and he explained to her that he was trying to be the big man in the family, and he had to do this for his father.
What a skewed moral compass.
It's awful. Like, listening to these stories is chilling.
Shocking.
His attempt to get back into social graces was when Paisley was 15. He approached her and discussed the idea of marriage. She laughed it off. She says about that time, her dad really started treating her different. She didn't feel a closeness like she used to. But her marriage wouldn't happen for another year. In between that year, her sister Banaz, a 17-year-old, was given to a Kurdish man, much older than her. So Paisley was 16 and scared to say no to her father at this time when he approached her again about marriage. She talks about meeting her husband. He was balding and much older.
She's like, oh, crap.
Yeah. She tried to make her beautiful self less attractive so that he wouldn't want her. But it didn't work.
Yeah. You can't hide that kind of beauty.
Yeah. This was happening.
Oh, man. So her sister ended up
married before her.
So her sister, even though she left the family.
No. So Bickel left the family. In between Paisley getting married, Banaz got married.
Oh, Banaz. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
She talks about how she thinks back on the encounters that an adult could have stepped in and helped her get out of the situation, or Banaz for that matter. But everyone just went along with it. I mean, the shopkeepers while they were wedding dress shopping, the registrar's office, the man officiating the wedding, her teachers.
Yeah.
The whole community was celebrating their marriage as her father regained his honor. In the TED Talk video, she explains her wedding night and the depression that she went through as a child bride. And I'll link this in the show notes so you can listen if you'd like to. But she talked about how many child brides feel and go through these kinds of situations. I've heard about child brides, and my heart has always gone out to those who aren't able to choose for themselves. But it brings it to another level when you hear about the hell that they go through.
Yeah.
Physical and emotional abuse.
Can't even imagine.
She tried to get her parents to help her, but they refused because that would bring dishonor to their family once again.
God, the people who are the only people in this world who are supposed to help you.
Exactly.
Will not help.
Exactly.
Good Lord.
Eventually, Paisley and her husband and Banaz and her husband, they all moved in together.
Okay.
Even though they experienced their own separate abusive marriages, they really were able to lean on each other and support one another. Paisley talks about the abuse that Banaz went through was much worse. And Banaz she could not take it any longer. She left her husband and tried to seek refuge with her parents. They made her go back to her husband.
Of course they did.
This went back and forth a few times. She'd go back. They'd send her back. But she finally stood up for herself. Despite the disapproval from her parents and the community, Banaz went on with her life and was determined to move forward with her true love.
The courage that must have taken.
Yes.
Wow.
Someone who she chose as her partner and soulmate. Her true love was Ramat Suleimani. There's text messages out there where she's like, "Hello, my prince."
Aww.
And they just loved each other so much.
Wow.
Even though Banaz was standing up for her independence, she was constantly looking over her shoulder.
I bet.
Realizing that she was being followed.
Good. That is so scary.
I know. Her father was not happy as the threat of dishonor reached his household once again. One of the men following Banaz reported to her family that she was seen kissing her boyfriend. How dare she?
Yikes.
The men got together and had a meeting deciding that Banaz had to die.
I mean, what?
Yeah.
That's the solution.
Yeah.
This is the only solution.
The hate. That's all I think about is the hate.
That's not going to bring dishonor to your family?
Thank you.
Okay.
That's the whole time I'm writing this. That's what I'm thinking.
What?
Banaz and her boyfriend started receiving death threats from the Kurdish community. At one point, as she's walking through the city, she saw a man following her and he yelled her name and started saying something to her in her native language. She had gone to the police at least 5 times. 5 times.
Wow.
To report all of this.
I was going to ask.
Mm-hmm. She was very detailed. There are videotaped recordings of her talking to detectives. And she's very soft-spoken and matter-of-fact. But you can see that she's concerned and scared.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, she had given the police a list of names of the people who was threatening and harassing her. She had heard the people talking about her father
mm-hmm.
and her uncle and others talking about her, saying that they had to kill her. She heard it all.
That is so scary.
She told the police, if I come up missing, if I die, if I'm murdered, these are the people that did it.
Wow.
And the names on the list were Banaz's father, Mahmud, her uncle, Ari Mahmud, and 3 other Kurdish men.
I can't imagine having a hit out on you.
No.
But knowing that it's your family, multiple people.
Yeah.
And to
hand a list over to detectives saying
I'm assuming they did nothing.
They did nothing.
Or else we wouldn't be talking right now.
Yeah. They took her statements, and even in one of the interviews with her, she's saying, "So what can you do for me?"
Yeah.
And they said, "Well, you've given us a lot to go by and to research. But if you ever feel threatened or get into trouble, call us immediately."
She's like, "I'm here. I feel threatened.
Right.
I feel scared. I'm here right now.
What can you do for me?"
Yeah. What are you going to do if I call you in the future?
And so that was their answer. We'll look into it.
Oh.
As far as I know, it was not looked into. On New Year's Eve, 2006, her dad lured her, Banaz, to her grandmother's house and made her drink brandy to get her drunk and told her to sit on the couch and told her to not turn around, do not look at him. She did end up turning around, knowing that she was about to be killed, and saw her father wearing gloves and training shoes, and she ran away. She got up. She was like, she fought for her life.
Holy
she said,
crap.
I'm out of here.
Why did she go there? I mean, like, it's her family.
Yeah.
But
and she loved through all of the hurt and the stuff.
There was probably a part of her where she felt like maybe we can heal and maybe we can move on from this, and
yeah,
they'll see how happy I am with this other person.
And that's the type of person that she was. She just wanted everybody to be happy.
Yeah.
And so maybe she thought she could heal that part. But so when she ran away, she broke a neighbor's window to try to get their attention, and she had cut her hand open. But eventually, I don't guess she got the neighbor's attention, because then it mentions that she made it to a cafe in the city.
Oh, okay.
When she reported this to the police, even with her hand bleeding and her panicked behavior, they did not believe her.
What?
They did not believe that her dad
What do you mean they didn't believe her? They're like, come on.
Yeah.
What?
One of the police officers actually said they just thought she had too much to drink, because remember, he gave her brandy. She had too much to drink and she was just making things up. Ramat had recorded Banaz's words on his phone while she was in the hospital bed on what happened to her that night. Police even wanted to file criminal damage charges on Banaz for breaking that window.
Oh, my Lord.
It does not make sense. It's so sad.
Oh, my God.
On the 22nd of January, an attempt was made to kidnap Ramat Suleimani.
Oh, my gosh.
3 of the men involved were among those whom Banaz had already named to the police. I'm not sure what the attempt was, how he got away, but thank God he did. On the morning of the 24th of January, 2006, Banaz's parents left the family home to take their youngest daughter to school and go shopping, leaving Banaz asleep in the front living room area. Mohammed Ali, and Omar Hussein arrived at the property shortly after the parents left. Ramat called police and reported Banaz missing. She never showed up to meet him. Police immediately went to the list of names that Banaz gave them. Each of them were suspected in her disappearance. So, if you can imagine, the parents left, leaving the door open for these men to go in.
Why was she there again? Lena, why was she there again?
Trying to please her parents. I don't know.
This is so toxic.
There were times that she tried, or that she stayed at Ramat's house, but it wasn't a permanent thing. So I guess when she wasn't with him, she was at her parents' house trying to please them. I don't know.
Listen, I'm not victim blaming at all.
No.
Because she's not at fault for this.
Absolutely
at
not.
all. I'm thinking of the psychology and the fact that there was something ingrained in her brain from birth.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That family comes first, no matter what. I'm trying to kill you, but when I ask you to come over, I'm going to need you to come over.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
Shocking.
Yeah. It's just something...
There aren't words.
We don't understand.
No, I couldn't. There's no way I could understand that.
So at this point, Banaz is missing. The investigation was taken over and led by Detective Chief Inspector Caroline Good. Initially, they assumed that Banaz was alive and being held against her will. A search and arrest operation was conducted. They flew over areas in a helicopter trying to get a bird's eye view, but there was no sign of Banaz. Her phone had not been active since late on January 23rd, and her bank account remained untouched. So they knew she wasn't just running away.
So let me get this straight. She goes to the police multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
says she's trying to be killed by her family,
Mm-hmm.
gives them a list. And when she goes missing, they're like, she's just being held against her will.
Yeah, they're just
Let's just look for her. She's somewhere in a dungeon.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, because I
What?
guess they thought we don't have a body, so surely she's not murdered.
They didn't start swabbing the house.
They
did.
There's reports that yes, they did their due diligence. I mean, they did get in a helicopter.
Okay.
For crying out loud, but wherever they searched, she was not there. Banaz's father and uncle, along with other potential suspects, were eventually arrested.
Okay. For?
So we'll get into that.
Okay.
During the police investigation, a safety alarm was set up at Paisley's house, where Banaz once lived. Paisley lied and told her husband that it was CCTV. This was one of the saving graces that helped Paisley get out of her marriage.
Wow.
Her husband stopped being violent with her, thinking that he would get caught and arrested as well. After 2 years of their marriage, he finally agreed to divorce Paisley, but she had to take the blame as being a bad wife so that he could keep his honor.
Of course.
3 months after Banaz disappeared, her body was found.
Wow.
She was buried in a garden in Birmingham.
Oh, my Lord.
One of the men that Ari hired, Ari, the uncle, he was the patriarch of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he was the younger brother, he made the
pants.
Yeah, he made the decisions. He hired, one of the men that he hired to murder Banaz was 31-year-old Mohammed Hama. He was recorded while in custody bragging about his role and the role of others in the murder of Banaz and the disposal of her body. He bragged about kicking her and stomping on Banaz's neck.
Oh my God.
He gave a detailed description of the attack, and I'll link another video that I watched with this detailed account just to kind of give a short summary. He kicked her in the head. He stomped her neck and throat. They raped her.
Oh my God.
They choked her with a wire until she suffocated.
Oh, Jesus.
The wire cut her neck. Anyway, it's awful.
And he's proud of this because he's like,
he was bragging, he was boasting, he was laughing.
Entrusted me to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Twisted.
He eventually pleaded guilty to murder. He directly implicated her uncle, Ari, Muhammad Ali, Omar Hussein, and another man named Dana Amin. I'm probably saying that right or wrong. But the recordings, along with phone and vehicle tracking data, enabled Banaz's remains to be located. So yes, they were doing all this. Mm-hmm. Detectives had received word that there had been a refrigerator placed on top of the grave that Banaz was buried in. A bell went off in their head. They remembered while flying in this helicopter, they saw this random refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
They went to that spot and dug up the earth to find a suitcase. In that suitcase was Banaz's body. Her body was found on April 28th, 2006. Detectives were not going to let these people get away with this, especially since they knew exactly who it was and they were boasting about it. There were several people within the Kurdish community, at least 50, that knew what happened. Not that did it, but knew what happened, and they did nothing to help the investigation.
That is sick. That's a cult.
It is.
That's a cult.
Absolutely. A little bit about Banaz. She was born on December 16th, 1985. She is described by her sister as a good person, a smart, fun, and attractive lady with a caring personality. who wanted above all to be happy. And y'all, she was beautiful, so pretty. Bakel, her sister, came to court covering herself in a black burqa. She spoke about her love for her sister and her continued fear of her own safety. She said Banaz wanted to be a professional person, a doctor or a lawyer. Above all, she wanted to be happy and have a loving husband and children. Paisley says Banaz was very kind. She was the bravest person she knows.
Yeah.
She had a passion for taking care of the elderly. She was close to her grandmother and would do the cleaning and grocery shopping for her. She was shy, but quite cheeky. She loved cooking and having people around. She always wanted to help everyone and make sure that they felt good and had a good time. She was a fan of the Spice Girls and listened to Mariah Carey on repeat.
Same girl.
Yeah. We could have been friends. Banaz's boyfriend, Ramat, told the court she was the sweetest person in the world. She only wanted to do good things for people. They had planned to marry and had already planned names for their children. That makes me think of you and Daniel the night y'all met.
The night we met, we're deciding names for our children. That's soul crushing.
Yeah. Ramat was strong enough to get through the trial and help get justice for Banaz. He commented that her death had destroyed him completely inside and that he was falling apart every day. Ramat eventually committed suicide due to his grief of losing the love of his life.
That is tragic.
I know. Breaks my heart. So the men charged and convicted of murder in Banaz's case was Mahmod, her father. He received life imprisonment, minimum term of 20 years. Ari Mahmod, her uncle, received life imprisonment, minimum term of 23 years. Mohammed Hama, he received life imprisonment, minimum term of 17 years. Mohammed Ali received life imprisonment, minimum term of 22 years. Omar Hussein, life imprisonment, minimum term of 21 years. There were two other parties involved. They were charged and convicted of perverting the course of justice. That was Dana Amin. Probably saying that wrong.
We don't care.
No.
Because he was involved in a murder.
Yeah. Get over it.
Shame on you.
So he received 8 years imprisonment and he got time served.
Oh, man.
Another name that I can't pronounce is Pushtawan Hama. Not sure what he was sentenced, what the time was, but he did receive time served as well.
Just the amount of people involved in this is it boggles the mind.
Yes.
We've talked about this before where there's like two people involved in the murder and you're like, how do two people agree to murder someone? And this is multiple people. And not just that, but the community. They all knew and they were like, yeah, this is the best way. This is how it's got to be.
The thing is it's a community and it's a religion. And this is their way of life.
I mean, when you're hurting people, that goes beyond religion to me.
Like murder is not dishonorable, but cheating or leaving your husband is dishonorable. Like, where's the make it make sense?
I just don't even know what to say right now.
Yeah. So at that time, within the law in England and Wales, child marriage at any age was legal with the consent of a parent.
What? Wait a minute. We're not talking about the 70s or the 80s.
2000s, girl.
That is shocking.
I think this largely is why the list of adults that Paisley and Banaz encountered that didn't help them in their situation. Maybe they didn't want to get involved in someone's family affairs, and it was legal after all.
Whoa.
Maybe they didn't understand the culture, like most of us don't.
Well, yeah, and I totally, like, you never want to poo-poo somebody's religion. You never, like, even if you don't understand something, you want to respect, because you'd want someone to respect your beliefs.
For sure, absolutely.
But
this is not respectable.
Again, I say, when you're hurting people, that's where we draw the line here.
Absolutely.
That's when you don't get to practice that kind of stuff.
Yeah. like
extremist.
That's when the law has to take
flying a plane into a building.
Yeah.
That's not religion.
No.
That mocks the people who truly believe in that religion.
Right.
And that's, I can't.
This is people making their own rules, really.
Oof.
So after hearing Banaz's story, I listened to a few others. The algorithm in your computer.
Oh, yeah.
You just keep getting those types of videos. So there were so many stories.
Wow.
And this one who survived, I listened to her. She just detailed what she went through. And these girls, they don't want this. They don't even know what's happening most of the time. The parents don't explain it to them. It happens so fast. They grow up being told to not like boys, don't even make eye contact with the boy. And then at 14, 15, 16 years old, they're supposed to go be a bride, and they don't even know what sex is.
Right. That's the thing, is they're children. Literally children.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, go in that room and do it.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Do what?
Do what? Remember when we thought sex was laying our Barbies naked on top of each other? That's the innocence of a child.
Absolutely.
Being like, what do you
They don't know.
And they don't even know. But these men know.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, let me show you what it is.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick. Oh, I need a shower.
Yeah. So, and here we are saying, oh, it's just their religion. It's their culture.
No.
Something's got to give. So I say this to suggest that we as a whole need to educate ourselves on how or what we need to do to help these girls. If we ever encounter a situation like this, will we recognize the signs of what's going on? Ask questions. Ask the little girl if they're okay. Do you need help? And that's another thing, asking if they need help. So one of the police officers, one instance when Banaz went to the police, they came and took her statement at her family's house in front of her family.
What?
So she couldn't openly say exactly what happened.
I honestly, I don't know what to say.
So, like, if you get a chance to secretly get this child or this woman to the side and ask them by themselves, not in front of the person that they're scared of.
Jeez.
Paisley still campaigns today, telling of her and Banaz's story, trying to educate others on signs and things we can do to help girls and women in need. She talks about how brave Banaz was, and I say that Paisley is just as strong and brave. It's not easy to tell and relive her story over and over, but she does it to save the next person.
I mean, look what happened to her sister. And she's like, I'm going to still tell the story and I'm going to still do what's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. February of 2022, a new law was passed in England and Wales due to Paisley's campaigning and all that helped her. The Marriage and Civil Partnership Minimum Age Act bans all forms of child marriage.
Wow.
And
I can't believe that it took till 2022.
Yeah.
Come on, England and Wales. What are y'all doing?
The legal age now is 18, so you have to be an adult to get married. That
seems so antiquated. That law.
I know.
Like, where was that law?
Where?
They were just like, oh, I know you can still marry your cousin in England too. So.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. But that's a story for another time. I was
just about to say.
You're like, I need more information.
My eyes got a little shifty.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of like when people are trying to escape polygamy.
Oh.
And they don't know anything about the outside world.
Oh, yeah.
They don't even know how to contact people outside of their like compound. And,
right.
And you might say, well, why don't they just move away? Like, why don't these child brides just leave their family? Where are they going to go?
Yeah.
Where are they going to go?
I mean,
they're children.
Right.
They have no money. All they know is this area and all these people that are trying to literally force them in bed with a stranger.
Yeah. I mean, Bakel was, I don't know how she thought, let me get social services help. I don't know how that all came about, but she was brave enough to do that.
That's amazing.
But not every one of them knows or thinks that that's an option. They don't know.
Right. Oh my God. That's just.
Yeah. I can't give you the statistics on honor killings. This is what it's called, honor killings. But it happens more than we know. I read a report that it's increased in the last 2 years across the world.
What?
Honor killings.
I feel like I'm in history class in middle school and I'm learning about like the samurais.
That's the thing.
And the honor killings. And I'm like, what century are we talking about here?
Yeah, but that's the thing. We don't know.
Present day.
Yes.
Good.
It still happens today. Yeah, I'm not sure how true that is about the increasing number, but it's happening. It's out there.
Guys, we are so wrapped up in our own world and our own lives that there's so much happening around us. Like sometimes I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
These things are happening around us.
Because I mean, even girls and boys being trafficked, like it's not happening.
That is trafficking.
Well, yeah, for sure.
That is hometown trafficking. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but that by definition, that's what that is.
I agree. Yes. But these are things that's like, it's never going to happen to me. We don't know about it because it doesn't happen to us. We're protected in some way, you know, it's hard to fathom. So we don't even think that it could be true.
Right.
Anyway, at the end of the Banaz, a love story film, they show pictures and names of so many others that have been killed by their family members. And it's just a pea size compared to the mountain of beautiful girls that go through this.
That's shocking.
Go watch that video that I post in the show notes because, I mean, it's eye-opening for sure.
And there's probably people listening right now that know somebody
or maybe
have themselves had an arranged marriage. You know, and that's the other fruity word they'll put over it, arranged marriage.
Exactly.
When really we're talking about children here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now listen, if you agree to an arranged marriage and you're of age, knock your socks off.
Yeah.
If you're consenting to that, go for it.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah. And if you want to do that and you're honoring your family and doing that, go hard.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying marrying off a child who's kicking and screaming is wrong.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what Paisley says she did. She would throw fits when she went to go look for jewelry or her wedding dress. She said, I acted like a typical teenager, like a little girl throwing a fit. So that hopefully someone would say, you don't have to do this. Or, you know, her new husband would say, I don't want her. Or,
wow,
you know, these are children.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Whoa. You dropped the ball on that one, England.
Well, I mean, they try to fix it in 2022.
Okay.
So
a little late. but let's start somewhere, I guess.
And pick up signs, guys. Like, watch.
Oh, man.
We need to do our research to know what to look for.
Yeah, we just need to be more aware about others.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're exactly right.
Anyway, well, that was great. Let's do it again sometime.
All right. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas. Bye. Thank you for listening to Cousins on Crime. Get connected with us by becoming a free member on our Patreon. Or for just $5 a month, you'll have access to bonus episodes, discussion groups, and much more. If you can't afford $5 a month, we get it. Inflation, am I right? Please consider leaving us a positive review and rating wherever you listen.
And don't forget merch. Support our podcast and show the love by sporting t-shirts with our latest designs, or grab an evidence bag to keep the chain of custody for all your valuables. Don't forget to follow our show on your favorite streaming app so you never miss an episode, and get photos and updates on our Instagram at Cousins on Crime Podcast or our Cousins on Crime Facebook page. Have a case suggestion? Email us at cousinsoncrime@gmail.com.